Hold on to your kilts, Scotland's having fewer babies than ever before. It's not just a blip or a passing trend, it's a dramatic shift that's changing the very fabric of Scottish life. The country famous for its lively streets and bustling families is now facing a quiet crisis. In 2022, births hit their lowest since records began in 1855. That's not just a dip, it's a record-breaking low that's left maternity wards eerily silent. That's right, 1855. Back when Queen Victoria was still learning to smile for the camera, and Scotland was a land of big families and even bigger dreams. The stork seems to be on a long holiday, and delivery rooms are quieter than a library. Nurses and doctors are seeing fewer tiny faces, and the lull is impossible to ignore. Once, Scottish families were huge. Now it's more likely you'll find a cat or a houseplant than a pram. The classic image of a bustling family home is fading into memory. The sound of bairns is fading, replaced by the purr of pets and the hum of Netflix. Living rooms echo with the quiet of streaming shows, not the chaos of children's laughter. It's a dramatic shift for a country known for big clans and hearty gatherings. The traditions of family calids and crowded dinner tables are becoming rarer sights. But this isn't just trivia for the pub quiz. It's a big deal. People are starting to talk, wondering what it means for Scotland's future. When a country stops having enough babies, it's like a car running out of fuel. You might not notice at first, but eventually, you'll stall. The warning lights are flashing, and the road ahead looks uncertain. So, where have all the bairns gone? Is something bigger happening behind the scenes? The empty playgrounds and silent nurseries are asking questions we can't ignore. Let's pull back the curtain on Scotland's great baby vanish and discover what's really going on beneath the surface. Let's break down the numbers and see what they really mean for Scotland today. The birth rate is simply the number of live births per 1,000 people each year. It's a basic measure, but it tells us a lot about how a country is growing or shrinking. In the 1960s, Scotland was booming, over 100,000 babies a year. Families were larger, and children filled the streets and playgrounds. Now, just over 46,000. That's less than half what it was 60 years ago, and the difference is visible in everyday life. The total fertility rate, the average number of children per woman, should be about 2.1 to keep the population steady. Scotland's is around 1.3, well below what's needed for replacement. This isn't a sudden drop, but a slow, steady decline that's unfolded over decades, shaping the country's future. Each year, the number dips a bit lower as families choose to have fewer children, often just one or two. It's a quiet revolution, one that's changed the country's priorities, from education to healthcare and beyond. We've gone from bursting at the seams to a quieter, grayer nation, where older generations now outnumber the young. The numbers don't lie. Scotland's society is changing, and the effects ripple through every community. But why? What's stopping people from filling their homes with the pitter-patter of tiny feet? The answers are complex, and they're shaping Scotland's future. So why the baby bust? What's really behind Scotland's shrinking birth rate, and why are so many young people putting off parenthood? First, money. Raising a child is expensive, like an 18-year subscription you can't cancel. From nappies to nursery fees, the costs add up fast, and many feel they simply can't afford it. Housing is another hurdle. Many young people can't afford family-sized homes, so they wait. Even renting a flat big enough for a child can feel out of reach for many. Careers matter too. More people, especially women, are focused on work and education. Building a stable future often means delaying starting a family. The pressure to have it all is real, and juggling it all can feel impossible. Balancing work, relationships, and personal goals leaves little room for nappies. People are starting families later, spending their 20s and 30s figuring out life, traveling, and enjoying freedom before settling down. By the time they're ready, biology isn't always on their side. Fertility drops, and the window for having children can close faster than expected. It's a perfect storm. High costs, tough housing, career ambitions, and ticking clocks. All these pressures combine to make parenthood feel out of reach. The result? Fewer babies, more pets, and a nation that's rethinking what family means. For many, dogs and cats are the new kids. All these factors have created Scotland's baby drought, leaving playgrounds and maternity wards quieter than ever. So, what happens when the bairns disappear? The answer could reshape Scotland's future in ways we're only beginning to understand. Fewer babies means real changes. Schools in small towns shrink, sometimes closing for good. A village without children feels hollow. The workforce shrinks too. Today's babies are tomorrow's doctors, engineers, and shopkeepers. With fewer young people who supports the growing number of older folks, the balance tips, and the system strains. Communities change, towns grow older, pubs get quieter, and the energy shifts. A healthy society needs all ages, but Scotland's is tilting grey. Fewer people means fewer consumers, which can shrink the economy. It's a vicious cycle. Less prosperity, fewer babies, and even less prosperity. If we're not careful, the last person in Scotland might be left to turn out the lights, but Scotland isn't alone in this. Scotland's not the only country facing a baby drought. Japan's population is shrinking so fast they sell more adult nappies than baby ones. Italy's birth rate is so low, some towns sell houses for €1 to attract new residents. Germany spends billions on family benefits, but the birth rate barely budges. The reasons are complex: money, culture, personal choice. Governments can offer incentives, but there's no easy fix. As countries get wealthier and more educated, birth rates tend to fall. Scotland's just joining a global club of nations facing the same challenge. It's a sign of progress, but it brings new problems. The world is changing, and Scotland is changing with it. So, what's next for Scotland? More sheep than people? That's already true. If the trend continues, will the Highlands echo with silence? But, let's not get too gloomy. Scotland's always been a land of innovation. Maybe we'll welcome more people from abroad or invent new ways to thrive. A low birth rate isn't the end, it's just a new chapter. Maybe the next generation will surprise us with a baby boom. Whatever happens, Scotland will still have its locks, castles, and good-hearted people. And hey, fewer people means shorter queues at the chippy. So let's raise a glass to the future, whatever it brings.